Hi, Bob Woodard, Chairman of the Dare County Board of Commissioners. As we prepare to gradually begin lifting restrictions on entry into Dare County, I want to review the entire situation with you as candidly as I know how. I am so glad we are finally at a place where we will be able to allow staged entry of non-resident property owners beginning Monday, May 4th. At the end of this video, I'll share with you an outline of how the entry will be conducted, the documents you will need, and a list of critical supplies that you should bring with you. The plan we have put together for entry is based upon the best available science and a careful analysis of the virus impact here in Dare County. Fortunately, over the past few weeks, things have improved. Only one individual in Dare County has tested positive for COVID-19 in the past few weeks, and the percent of emergency department visits with COVID-19 related symptoms has remained fairly consistent over the past several weeks. Additionally, I am pleased to report that the availability of supplies for testing is now readily available here in Dare County in accordance with the current state guidelines, and the turnaround time for getting these test results back has dramatically improved. Also, the county's Department of Health and Human Services has increased capacity for contact tracing, which is an important component of an entry plan, as well as the fact that plans have been implemented locally, regionally, and across the state of North Carolina to address medical surge capacity so that any COVID-19 patient can be transported to a healthcare facility that will be able to provide the appropriate level of care. Furthermore, emergency management has confirmed with essential businesses such as our grocery stores their readiness to deliver crucial supplies based on the advance notice that they are being given to prepare for the upcoming phased entry. All of these factors were important components to have in place before we could safely consider lifting any of the entry restrictions into Dare County. I am so glad that things are finally starting to improve. This has been a terrible ordeal for all of us, and my heart aches for everyone who has suffered because of this virus. I understand that the COVID-19 situation has been extremely frustrating for our full-time residents and for our non-resident property owners. The Board of Commissioners has heard from thousands of people, and I have personally responded to as many of you as I can to let you know that we understand your concerns and your point of view. On behalf of the Dare County Board of Commissioners, I can assure you that every decision that the control group has made was based on the best available science and the advice of the public health professionals. I want you to know that the concerns you have expressed have been carefully taken into consideration every step of the way. It has been a challenge for us to balance all the public health concerns with the economic realities, knowing full well that people's lives and livelihoods were being impacted. There is no doubt that the COVID-19 virus has hurt us all. It has affected people's health, and it has been an economic catastrophe. It has also stopped people from enjoying their second homes. It has changed how we educate our children, engaged in recreation, and interact with one another. As we think about the COVID-19 crisis, I believe it will be helpful to review some of the key steps the county has taken to keep our community safe. It was back on March 16th that Dare County issued a state of emergency to address the COVID-19 virus. Then, on March 17th, in an effort to decrease the risk spreading the virus, visitors' access was restricted. In the following days, Dare County closely monitored the situation and established a specially staffed COVID-19 telephone hotline to answer questions. On March 20, in consultation with public health officials, the county expanded the entry restrictions to include non-resident property owners. This was done to decrease the risk of spreading the virus and safeguarding any strain this could have on the limited resources of our relatively small healthcare system. Daily bulletins and videos were issued reminding people to practice social distancing, restrict all non-essential movement, and take precautions such as hand washing. On March 28th, the county again outlined these concerns when it issued a stay-at-home, stay-healthy order. March 25th is certainly a date that I'll always remember because it was when Dare County received confirmation of its first COVID-19 patient. In the following days, we carefully tracked each new COVID-19 case in Dare County, and unfortunately, on April the 9th, we sadly announced the first, and thank God, only COVID-19 death in Dare County. So far, Dare County has had 16 positive COVID-19 tests reported. Of this number, 14 have recovered or have been asymptomatically cleared. And as I mentioned, we have had one death due to the COVID-19 virus. Compared to some other geographical areas, our impact numbers have been relatively low. I attribute this to the steps that have been taken and the remarkable way the community has responded positively to the call for social distancing. We all know that this virus has taken a tremendous toll on us physically, economically, and emotionally. Fortunately, it appears that there is now light at the end of the tunnel. Although we don't yet know when conditions will permit the entry of visitors, we will be allowing entry very soon for non-resident property owners. Here's how it will work. At 6 a.m. on Monday, May 4, entry will begin for non-resident property owners whose last names begin with A through I. Then at 6 a.m. on Wednesday, May 6, those whose last names are J through R will be allowed entry. And then at 6 a.m. on Friday, May 8th, we will welcome back those names S through Z. It's important that you have the proper identification before you go to the entry checkpoint. There are complete details about the documentation you will need on the Dare County website at darenc.com/entry. For those who are entering, we ask that you bring with you the supplies you will need, such as groceries, prescriptions, paper products, and other essentials. Be aware that as the supply chain fluctuates across the nation, you should expect to see changes in product availability. Remember, as the number of shoppers increases, people may experience a greater wait time to enter a store due to the statewide restrictions on the number of customers that are allowed in the store based on its square footage. As the gradual lifting of restrictions get underway, it does not mean that the COVID-19 virus is gone and we can do whatever we want. No, it's important that we continue to stay vigilant. Please, for everyone's safety, remember the following. Travel only for essential needs. Practice social distancing and only have direct contact with members of your immediate household. If you are sick, please stay home. Mass gatherings are limited to 10 or fewer individuals. All essential retailers must adhere to the Governor's Executive Order 131 and comply with its restrictions on the number of people allowed entry based on the square footage of the store. In addition to these restrictions, individuals are now required to wear a mask or cloth face covering in public settings where other social distancing measures are difficult to maintain, such as at the grocery store or the pharmacy. Dare County Control Group will continue to monitor the situation very carefully. When it's appropriate for us to safely welcome visitors, we will be sure to let you know. We know that people are anxious to come to the Outer Banks, and our residents and businesses look forward to that, only when it's safe to do so. In closing, there's a few people I'd like to personally thank for the way they have addressed this crisis. First of all, I want to thank those who are on the front lines. This includes our public health workers and all of our amazing health care providers. It also includes the workers at our essential businesses. I'm so grateful for the people who are feeding us and getting us the supplies we need. As you encounter these hometown heroes, please be sure to thank them for their service. Next, I'd like to thank the Board of Commissioners, all the municipal mayors, and everyone who serves on the Dare County Control Group. I'm proud of the way you have faced this crisis and had the courage to make very difficult decisions in a timely way to keep our community safe. Finally, I would like to thank the people of Dare County. The way you have heeded the guidelines and followed the restrictions has made a tremendous difference in curbing the spread of this pandemic. I encourage you to remain strong and continue as you have done throughout this crisis. Once again, as I mentioned earlier, this has been a terrible ordeal. Tensions and stresses remain extremely high, but now is the time to act with compassion and kindness. Please respect your neighbors and visitors and foster a warm and welcoming environment that is familiar to those who love and support our community. Thank you, and God bless.